Hola, baby. Vete, papá.
Mira, acá trae otro color, mira.
Sí, pero aquí es para ¿a cuál es de Halloween? ¿A cuál es de Halloween? Thing that can happen to me because because I love children, and over there we have us only Mexican children. They speak most Spanish, and I can get along better speaking the language than the other language, and they are beautiful and so cute and so good.
What about some of the meat?
In Mexico, and I was raised there.
Country since the 1950s. Why
Yes.
do you feel more? Why?
Get together with the Mexicans. I feel more better there than with the American party because we talk in Spanish and we have our culture, you know.
My grandmother, who was dying of cancer, and I wanted to tell her what I thought about her, what I felt about her, remind her of some experiences that we'd had, and just talk with her and be with her. And every other word practically that came out of my mouth in Spanish, I had to stop and ask my aunts and uncles, how do you say this? What's the word for? And I was really horrified because I'd lost my language, is what had happened, and I didn't realize what was I doing. And very sad. So I came back to Oakland, signed up at Brown Berets College right away for a Spanish class, and began to study again. But what was interesting, it was through Chicano Studies that I took the class. So half the class was devoted to Spanish and half the class to, well, politics or Chicanismo, if you will, which was very exciting for me. It was very, I thought, radical and really far out at the time, but it was very interesting to me to find out what was happening in the world of Chicanos. I really had been living in a very anglicized kind of world. And so... B-E. This sound, okay, no es I, no es E. In Oakland, do you live in Oakland? I live in Oakland. And that something I had lost was beginning to be awakened again in me, and it's a very important picture. I don't know where it is. My grandmother is very wide-faced. She had a long-eyed, enviable shock, I must admit, especially earlier in the marriage, and sometimes even now. But this is not the problem now that it was earlier. For instance, in my family, anybody new comes into the house, well, you just welcomed in, you offered some food, and if they're your friends, well, they're part of you and they're part of the family. Well, there's much more reticence. I've noticed in many Anglo families, there's a little bit more formal. I was somewhat inhibited, and perhaps it was...
Yo creo que sí, porque cuando se pone a cocinar una comida mexicana no dura una hora, dura 3, 4. My life is being a mother and having my children. And be with them, and the most time I have to spend with them.
What do you think?
A woman be, oh boy, happy without children.
Just for us.
Yeah, she's the only. Ahorita le digo. Ok, así, le corta esos allí y luego ya le cortó estos pedacitos. Well, I talked to them like my grandfather, he was a revolutionary.
Revolutionary?
Yeah, and we talked to them about that, and then my uncle, he was with that, I don't know if you hear about that, la cordada. When he go into the fields and plant some plants, and that cordada come and then destroy it, see. And then my uncle, he was in the side of the poor people, and I talked to my children about that too. Second culture, because if we speak them in Spanish in our house, they never lose the culture and the language.
Cultures is very interesting because your children, well, they're doubly rich. You see, I don't tell my children, you're Chicano and nothing else. I tell them, you're Chicano because of this. My family, my parents, my grandparents came from Mexico. And they hear the music, they eat the food, they go to meetings with me. They're learning Spanish. They didn't speak it when they were babies. I didn't speak it to them, and I'm sorry about that. But I didn't have the facility myself. But then in my... I'm going to give you the message, okay? There's a meeting at 4 o'clock. Raza education to find better and different ways of organizing parents. I think it ought to be one of our goals for this year, is to organize parents. And I think a lot of us have been thinking very hard about ways to do that. And men in business say, oh yes, we'd love to have those bilingual girls. They're such nice secretaries. You know, and we're very valuable as secretaries. And it's time that people see our values as human beings and as capable of doing a lot of other things, as being doctors and lawyers and anything else we want to be, teachers, professional people. I guess like other women are, in that we're trying to find ways to express ourselves other than just in the home, which has been a pretty traditional picture. Forget it.
Oh, I see. You just have her hands in there.
Since time immemorial, in fact, perhaps the Chicana has worked outside of the home more than the Anglo woman, say, because of financial reasons. I have families who work.
Children is the best for them, you know, to get a good education and to learn the more they can't, because it's the only, for our poor people, it's the only thing that we can have, education, to get a better things to live.
Oh.